Hi everyone, I am so excited for our video today because it's a brush haul video, and these are the goodies that I picked up when I went to the brush festival in Kumano, Hiroshima back in September 23, 2023. So I am very happy that I was able to go this year, and as I've said in my Come Back With Me video vlog, when I started planning going to the brush festival this year, it was last March, and I was working on blind faith. And I didn't even know by then that this was going to happen, but I just believed that it was going to push through, and I'm so glad that it did push through this year. So I'm sure by now, if you follow me here on YouTube, you would have seen my vlog as I showed you the various activities that I did when I was at the brush festival. And also I'm sure you would have seen me visit some head offices. Like I passed by Quijote. I didn't go inside, so I kind of kicking myself why I didn't go inside, but it's fine. I also went to the Chikuhodo head office, and I actually met Yutaro Takimori, who is the senior managing director of Chikuhodo, and I believe he is the son of Teshu Takimori. Now also one other thing, I actually met the Teshu Takimori because when I was purchasing brushes at Chikuhodo during the brush festival, I was kind of ushered into another part of the compound wherein it had a very nice, the building was actually very traditional, and I thought it was like a tea house. And then all of a sudden, lo and behold, I was actually introduced to Teshu Takimori, and that is actually the biggest icing on the cake for my visit in Kumano, Hiroshima, Japan for the brush festival. So I'm very, very happy with that. And what else happened? I'm sure if you also follow me on Instagram, you would have seen that I also met up with Sonia G, and I was so happy to be able to hug her, and to shake hands with her and just to exchange some information. But as we all know right now, she has been releasing her latest brushes into the market. So there's going to be more releases coming, and I'm very excited because I am a huge fan of the Sonia G line, and they're one of the easiest brush lines to actually to understand, even basing on the name of the brushes itself. So I'm really, really looking forward to more of Sonia G's release. Now, what else did happen? So there were a lot of changes in the brush festival this year. Like for example, if you have seen my vlog, you would have seen that I actually went down in Kumano Station, and I had to walk to the brush festivities because in previous years there was a free shuttle that would pick you up at Kumano Station and bring you to Fudenosato Kobo or to various stops around the festival ground, which was kind of okay. And I also like the fact that I actually did that because at least I could have I showed you some other brush companies along the way. But this year it would be actually easier to take the bus either from Hiroshima, just like I did, or the bus from Yano Station, wherein it's going to take you all the way to the closest bus stop maybe might be in Dekiniwa. I'm not so sure yet. I'm going to put it down on the description box, like a Google pin, so that if you use this video for reference in the future, that pin there can be able to help you. Because although you can walk from KumanoEgyosho all the way to the festival grounds, it's quite a walk, and sometimes it's very, very hot, it's very humid, and the sun is really shining, so it can take the wind out of you. But it's a nice walk, by the way. So anywho, so just take the bus. I'm gonna put the bus number also on the description box. Okay, now for the brushes that I got in the festival grounds, I really didn't get a lot, mainly because I wasn't there to shop. So I was just there to really celebrate the brushes, and and then the community of food lovers who goes there. So it's actually it was a very happy occasion. I'm sure not only for me, but for the entire community in Kumano. As always, I actually went to the brush museum first, which is always my first stop when I go to the brush festival, mainly because it's just a nice way to start the journey. And also one other thing, by the way, I have noticed that the entrance fee to enter the museum has increased, so which is okay. It's not a substantial increase, which is happening all over Japan right now, and I'm sure with all the makeup brushes that have been being sold online. So It's happening across the board, not only with brushes. Okay, so yeah, so I didn't get a lot of brushes at the Fude Select shop. So if you would have seen my blog, you would have seen that as soon as you enter the museum, to the right hand side is actually like, you know, the area where you can buy brushes. And um, looking back right now, and then, like, you know, following the KumanoFude Select shop, so that's the name of the shop of the museum. They actually have a foundation brush right now that is actually made of pure squirrel hair. And if I would have known that that was made of pure squirrel hair, I would have gotten that, because after this batch, it's gonna be like, you know, it's no longer gonna be in production. I'm like, you know, kicking myself for not, like, you know, knowing that. But anyhow, I didn't purchase a lot of brushes when I was going to the KumanoFude Select shop, because I knew I was going to be purchasing some stuff at the festival grounds itself. But here they are. So the first brush that I got is actually, well, it's not a makeup brush. It's actually a calligraphy brush, and as you guys can see here, look at that. Isn't that so pretty? And what really attracted me to this brush is actually, like, you know, the brush head here, because it's actually made of swan. Look at that. And the main reason why I was so attracted to this is because years ago, Laura Mercier released, like, you know, a brush similar to this. And it was actually marketed in such a way that it was actually going to be used to apply, like, you know, body glitter on the body. And when I saw this, it just reminded me of that, and it kind of um like, you know, brought me, like, you know, back in time. And, like, you know, I was just calling my name, like, you know, Torre, get me, come closer, come on, get me, put me in your bag. And so yeah, I fell for it, and I have to say it's actually very, very pretty. So as you guys can see here, the handle is made of wood. Also, the KumanoFude seal is here. And then I just don't know what brand makes this, but this might be made by like Fudenosato Kobo, because that might be what this label is written, or, like, you know, stamp here, Fudenosato Kobo. Maybe, but don't quote me on that. So this brush was actually an unplanned purchase. It wasn't on my list, and this cost me 10,780 yen. So like, you know, it's a little bit pricey, but I love that I actually got this. Now, the other brushes that I got at Kumano Fude Select Shop are these brushes. So I'm sure you guys might have seen me use this already in some videos. Like, you know, that I use these small brushes like this as, like, you know, to apply concealer on the face. And I really love the tips of this. They're quite, like, you know, very resilient and very strong. And the brush head here is actually, like, you know, round. So if you have a blemish, or if you have a pimple, and then you use this, and then you just, like, you know, pounce it very lightly on your blemish, it's actually very effective in applying concealer, especially the thick types of concealers, because these brushes are actually used for, like, you know, stenciling kimono or painting kimono. So these are some of the smallest brushes here, and they actually have larger size brushes, which is similar to this. Let me just get that, as you guys can see here. So these brushes are not made in Kumano, or maybe they are, but the bristles here are not that soft, and I picked this up in some painter shop somewhere in Kyoto, like back in 2019. So I think you guys can see the similar design here. Now, by the way, before I went to the brush museum, I actually passed by Chikuhodo first, and the main reason why is because I was scared that by the time I came down to the Chikuhodo head office after going around, like, you know, the festival grounds, I might run out of brushes, or maybe I might have just, like, you know, run out of time. So anywho, so these are the brushes that I got at Chikuhodo. So let me just get them out of the plastic here. Okay, so here they are. Now, the most amazing thing about purchasing brushes, like, you know, during the brush festivals, is that sometimes when a, like, you know, brush manufacturer or a brand, like, you know, their head offices are open at that time, you actually get heavily discounted brushes. And mind you, Chikuhodo actually offered 30% discount on their brushes, and I was like, really? So actually, I went to Chikuhodo the day before the brush festival, and when I got there, that's when I actually met Yutaro Takemori, and he told me that, come back tomorrow because, at least you can get some brushes when they're 30% off. And I really appreciated that, because 30% off of a brush is actually a huge savings already, if you know what I mean. So in the near future, if you decide to visit, Fude Matsuri, there's a high chance that a lot of the brush manufacturers there are gonna be on sale only for that day. So I believe there are some brush manufacturers who gives out 10% off, 20% off, and Chikuhodo gives 30% off. So anyway, so these are the brushes that I got, and I have two foundation brushes here from the regular series. And this is the R-LQ4, so I'm sure you've seen me use this a number of times here on my channel, and I really love them. And purchasing these, so I now have 4 of these, and I really have to have multiples because of the nature of my job, and I really love them. These are made of synthetic fibers, and they work very well in applying liquid foundation on the face. Even some cream foundations, they actually work very, very nicely. Okay, and I also bought this GSN 18 brush. Now, this brush was actually introduced to me by Yutaro Takemori when I was there the day before, and he just recommended it to me because it's a very different type of a brush head design, wherein it is actually angled, as you guys can see here. And it's actually very, very strong. There's no if you just see the way that the brush head snaps back into place, and it doesn't really fan out much, it doesn't bloom much. It's actually a very, very sturdy and direct brush, and I haven't used this yet. So in my head, I can actually use this either for eyeshadow application, concealer application, and for eyeshadow maybe liquid or cream eyeshadows, or I can even use this for contouring. And by the way, this is made of weasel hair, so they are actually very, very sturdy. So I'm actually quite glad to be able to see this and hold this. And in general, I was actually very glad to be able to go to the head office of Chikuhodo, which because I was able to touch some of the brushes there, and there are some brush lines that I was very, very curious about. So those brushes now are on my future to buy list. So but this one I just really have to have it because again the brush head is a very different type of design. Look at that, very nice, right? So this is the GSN 18. Now the other brush that I got there is one from the Passion series, and this is the eyebrow brush. And the Passion series for me is one of they just call out to me for some strange reason. I love the eyeshadow brushes from the Passion series, although I don't have any of the brushes for powder or blush, but so far these brushes from them, the smaller ones. Now, this one is also very, very strong and very direct, so this is actually perfect for eyebrows, and I'm sure this will pick up a ton of products, so I can't actually wait to try this out. And of course I'm going to tell you guys my experience with this. I love it. It's very it's very strong and can even separate my brow hairs, and my brow hairs are actually very they're actually very stubborn because they go to one direction, and they're also quite thick, so the brush head here actually enables me to control the direction of my brow hairs. And this brush is called the PS5, and this is made of Beiger. Look at how sturdy the brush head is here. Look how strong that is. Amazing. Love it. Love, love, love it. And of course, the pièce de resistance of my purchase at Chikuhodo is actually the F09. So this is the biggest brush head from the FO series, and this purchase actually completes my FO series line. So look at that. Look how fluffy that is. Look how strong that is. Look at the snap back into position of this brush head. Oh, look at that. Look how full that is. It's actually so amazing. It feels very soft on the face. Look at that. Look how it dances on the face. So can you imagine how diffused you're able to actually apply color using this brush? Look at that. And if you have oily skin like I do, this brush is actually perfect for you, like the FO series from Chikuhodo, because silver fox hair is very resilient, and it will not pick up a ton of the natural oils. Well, it will pick up the oils of your skin, but it will not saturate the bristles of the brushes and clump them up the way squirrel makeup brushes clump up when you use it on very oily skin. But this one will not. I need to air this out first because I can still smell the glue, so it's actually still very, very new. Oh my gosh! So I can't really wait to try this. And I do remember talking about in a previous video before, I wasn't really in the market of buying a brush head this big, but because I have a number of the FO series in my collection and this is the only one missing, so I was like, when I saw it, and I go like, okay, I think I might just get you, especially now that it's at 30% off. I'm gonna go like, it's really a bargain, because this one retailed for 12,300 that day. Isn't that so cool? Because normally this would retail for, let me double check. Here, according to the website of Fude Beauty, this retails for 16,000 yen. Can you imagine how huge savings that was for me? So I'm so glad that I decided to pick this up. As I've said earlier, there are a few brushes I'm very interested to check out from Chikuhodo, like for example their Takumi series. Now those brushes, when I touched them, oh my god, they were so soft in the bristles, and they were also quite dense, and I believe they're made of Saikoho goat hair. So let me just double check before. Yeah, it's made of Saikoho goat hair according to their website, and I was just very interested in them. So I'm just gonna do a little bit more research about the Takumi series from Chikuhodo, because if there are any other brushes from Chikuhodo I would like to purchase, it's going to be from the Takumi series. Okay, so those are the brushes that I got from Chikuhodo. Now, I really didn't get much brushes when I was at the festival grounds, mainly because one, there was one brush company that I was looking for and they were not there, and it was called Number 8. Now, I have spoken about Number 8 here on my channel a few years ago, wherein I talked about their Yachio brushes. So I was hoping to buy more from them, but unfortunately they weren't there, so I was a little bit sad about that. And also there are some brush companies there that when I checked out the brushes, I have seen those brushes before in previous visits to the brush festival, and they were not the type of brushes that I was actually very interested in. Oh, so these brushes are not brushes, but these are trinkets, and I've shown you guys this before, especially in my 2018 vlog about the brush festival, and this is from the brand Bunkoudou, if I remember correctly, and I got a lot of them. Can you take a look at that? And the main reason why is because I had brushes like this before, and I would keep them in my bags or in my belt bag, things like that. And when my partner and I got Malena, my beagle, she ate a lot of them, and I was very upset, and I was like, oh my god, if I go back to the festival, I'm going to buy this, because some of my trinkets like this have already the strings have already been destroyed, and I just love them. Look how cute they are. Also, the packaging calls out to me, so it's actually very pretty. And I found out this year that there is actually certain meanings to these brush keychains, because they're sort of like talisman or something like that. So I think one of this is for health, one of this is for love, luck, and things of that nature. So I actually bought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I actually bought 7, and the lady who talked to me while I was there actually gave me one for free, because it was the only color that I didn't get. So domo arigato. So I'm really, really happy that I got these. Now, the other brush that I got at the festival grounds is this Hello Kitty brush, and this is from the brand Kihitsu. Yeah, it's correct. So I'm really unfamiliar with Kihitsu, but anyway, so the reason why I decided to get this is because when I am just working, and if I need to go on set and I need to retouch. And then sometimes if a brush is exposed on my brush bag, and then I'm just going around the set, and sometimes they tend to fall down onto the ground because they I tend to bump into somebody, or when I'm just rattled because I'm pressed for time. So I said to myself, I should try out these types of brushes wherein it kind of you can remove it and then you can close the cover, so it just keeps it clean and sanitized all the time, and I can keep it in my brush bag or in my belt bag when I'm working. And when I need to use it to do retouching, I can just flip it over and then press it out. So again, this is made of goat hair, and very nice snap back into position, nice density, and the shape here is almost squarish. And I have to say, this, I don't think this is not Saikoho for sure. This might be made of Sokoho. Maybe. Yeah, because they're very, very strong, and I can see some texture on the hair here. But I love the density of it, so at least you can use this to buff color out into the cheeks, or even to add powders in certain areas of the face. So it's actually quite nice. So I can't wait to actually try this out. Okay, and the other thing also that I did this year is I actually went to the temple at the Brush Festival grounds, and I prayed to the deities, for guidance and for good luck. And I also got a few amulets when I was there. Like for example, I got this brush amulet. Isn't that so cute? It also comes in red, by the way, but I like the color blue. And I also have one more amulet from there. So I love these things. It's just a very nice remembrance of my time at the festival grounds. And an amulet is an amulet. So anything that kinds of gives you good luck and dispels bad luck, it's actually good to have in your bag. And I love that it has a sound, because I like it when I'm walking around and there's a little bell sound on my bag. So it's actually kind of cute. Yeah. So so I believe that's it. I didn't buy a lot, mainly because I just came from Hakuhodo also in Tokyo, so I bought some brushes from Hakuhodo, so that's why I got that. And also one other thing, I also purchased brushes recently before going to the brush festival. So most of the brushes that I was very interested in getting, I already have. And most of the brushes that I got at the brush festival are the brushes that I have been wanting to get. Like example, these bamboo brushes, and these ones, especially these ones. I have been wanting to get this also for quite some time now. So I'm glad that I decided to get this as during the festival itself, because again, I had a discount. And also one more thing before I let you guys go, just to set your expectation about the brushes for sale there. So it's not only about makeup brushes, okay? It's more diverse than that. So there are calligraphy brushes for sale there. There are brushes to clean kimonos, or even to clean temples. And also one other thing, most of the makeup brushes that are sold at the festival grounds are not their top quality, because of course they are being sold at at a discounted rate. So it means that they might have a little bit of some manufacturing issues, things like that, or they might have been factory overruns, things like that. So if you want to buy the top notch brushes, go to the head office of each of the brush manufacturers that you are interested to go to. I just remember right now, before I let you go, that I actually got this pamphlet from Mizuho, and they actually renovated their head office, and I didn't really wanted to go because one, Mizuho is not one of those brushes that call out to me. But again, I'm kicking myself because I should have gone there just to see the new the newly renovated head office, because I went there in 2019, so it didn't look like this. So it looks airier now, and it looks very, very chic. So it would have been nice to see this. But maybe next year I might go there, and maybe I might be interested in picking up a few brushes from Mizuho. But so far, Mizuho is not one of those brands that call out to me. Although I do have a few brushes from them that I like to use. So maybe maybe like next year, I'm gonna change my tune. So yeah, I believe that's it for me today. So if you have any more questions about my experience at the brush festival, and the buying, like how to buy when you're there, or what to expect when you are there, please let me know down in the comment box, and let's have a conversation about it. And also, if you're interested to see my adventure at the brush festival this year, please check out my Fude Matsuri blog. I'm gonna put it down on the description box as well, okay, so that you can just have like a general idea of what happens during the brush festival. And so yeah, so I believe that's it. So thank you so much for hanging around with me. Thank you so much for being here. And again, if you have any more questions, just let me know down in the comments box. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna let you guys go now because I'm just going to be blabbing and blabbing and blabbing. All right. So thank you so much for being here. Bye, you guys.